Watching BBC News, it's 11 minutes past 7. Sir Terence Conran, the British designer who transformed UK retail and interior design, has died at the age of 88. Best known as the founder of Habitat, Sir Terence brought modern style and simplicity to UK homes. Today, the Design Museum described him as a visionary, saying he revolutionised the way we live in Britain. In a statement, his family said he passed away peacefully at his home. David Silito looks back at his life.
You know, I believe in what I call easy living.
Duvets, flat-pack furniture, the wok. It wasn't just a shop. Sir Terence Conran introduced Britain to a new way of living, a design philosophy that had its roots in the Festival of Britain.
Bank holiday and the festival spirit pulls the crowds to the South Bank exhibition.
As a young industrial designer, he worked on the exhibits at this vision of the future. It had a powerful impact.
I just saw the faces of people coming in their long Macintoshes with their sandwiches and the smiles. They hadn't seen anything cheerful for so long.
Habitat.
13 years later, he opened Habitat. Light, bright, modern, continental, furniture for the swinging 60s. It was the beginning of an empire. BHS, Richard Shops, Mothercare, Heels. He helped turn dowdy old Hepworths into the high street titan Next. He also had a chain of restaurants, and while the businesses had their ups and downs, food, clothes, furniture, he touched the lives of millions. And all of it came together with this, his last major project, the Design Museum, a shrine to the ideas that had been his life's work.
This is the great day of my life, to see the place actually finished.
The life and style of modern Britain owes much to Sir Terence Conran.
Sir Terence Conran, who has died at the age of 88. Let's speak to designer Tom Dixon, who was head of design and creative director at Habitat. Tom, a very, very sad day for you as someone who knew him, and you were almost part of the Conran family, I think.
Well, not quite, but I did know. I mean, I know the whole family, and we're going to miss him. I mean, he's irreplaceable.
Tell us what influence he had on you as a young designer.
Well, not so much as a designer, but I think what happened was that he kind of made the profession aspirational. I think he taught people that you could make a business out of design. And I think also he was a polymath. I mean, he had an element of Renaissance man because he didn't just do design. He also popularized all kinds of food culture as well. And you know, he'd been a designer, made things with his own hands, but been an incredible retailer as well. But mainly, for me, the inspiration was as entrepreneur.
How did he let you know, as a critical friend, when he didn't like something?
Well, when I was involved in Habitat, he'd lost ownership of it a long time previously. It was owned by IKEA at the time, which didn't make him that happy. And he would pen a letter if he saw something in the window that he didn't like. I mean, always very polite, but quite sharp, and in a beautiful handwritten script.
What sort of things were not to his taste that you dared to put in the window?
I put some black plastic Christmas trees on Christmas, and he really didn't like that.
OK, so if you had to sum up his own style and his absolute preferences, what would they be? Because we're probably all living with things in our homes that are really there thanks to Sir Terence Conran.
Well, he loved simplicity was his key word, and I think, you know, particularly when Habitat arrived after a very depressing period for British history. It was dark, there wasn't a great deal of things in the shop. He really brought in a breath of fresh continental air, and he popularized all kinds of things that are now incredibly familiar, like, you know, paper lanterns, duvets, and the rest of it. But I've forgotten your question.
No, that was good enough. It doesn't matter. I just want you to talk. It doesn't matter what I ask you, really. The Design Museum, then, we heard in David Silito's film, the tribute to Sir Terence, how moved he was when he finally saw the museum open. Why was it so important to him?
Well, I think he tirelessly lobbied and explained design to anybody that would listen. And I think it was quite lonely for him at the time. I don't think that design was very prized as a profession in the UK, and he was very frustrated by that. He'd get quite grumpy about it, actually, and quite rightly, because I think it deserved to have more recognition. And putting together the museum, you've got to remember that there wasn't a design museum in the world at all. So the very fact that he managed to create that, and he did it pretty much on his own, and did it privately, it's a really tough task. So I think we've got to thank him for that, and he's made design really part of everyday life.
How far was his reach internationally?
I think the model of the Design Museum was very much copied, I think. But also, you know, I knew the founder of IKEA as well, and I think IKEA was watching Habitat very closely indeed, in terms of style and in terms of the spread of goods that were in the store. So I think from a retail perspective, he was massively influential, and also you'll see a lot of the chains in America, a lot of people that were that came from Habitat or Conran shop or the restaurants went and created businesses all around the world. And so there is a family of people internationally that owe a lot to Terence in France, in America, even in places like India.
And how do you believe the current generation of designers measure up?
I don't think the positivity and the momentum of design that was available in the 60s is possible to recreate. But I also think that generation of designers really believed in design as a means of improving everyday life. And that's probably a battle that's already been won in terms of design being, or good design being, much more widely available. But I think Terence really was instrumental in making things affordable, good things affordable, and bringing simplicity and good design to everyday life.
I have a coffee table of his in my sitting room, and I love it. Tom Dixon, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us.
Pleasure.